back to the Rusty Dusty Decor channel. This is our project for the day. A little bit of a garage sale throw-in. They had $1 on the item, and I bought a bunch of stuff, and it was thrown in, which is where most of this stuff comes from. It's not leaving behind things that can be, productive, repurposed, or of course reimagined. So I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do with this, and the flowers are what really told me that it would be a pretty good potential craft. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the hardware, which is loose anyway. It's an inexpensive piece. It's two feet by just over 6 inches wide, and I'm going to do like a flower, like a peace sign, like flower power or what have you. People that were around in the mid to late 60s and 70s might get a kick out of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the hardware off, and you'll probably see this fast forwarded for an efficiency of time. Okay, now since we know it's 2 feet, so it's 24 inches, I have 6 colors in mind, which are, I guess, the traditional colors for the rainbow sign for these, a lot of these peace signs you'll see, and variations thereof. So it's about 4 inches per, but we don't really need to be that exact. A lot of times I'm not really that excited to be exact, so I'm going to guesstimate and use masking tape to, of course, separate the colors if the masking tape permits. Okay. Once again, perfection is never a goal. Hardly ever is a goal in this. It's just getting the craft right. So let's see how close I am to 4 inches. That's about 4.5. So I'll correct that a little bit, just to. Alright, so the first color is going to be red. We're going to do a version of red. Once again, I don't want the exact, I don't want red, I don't want orange, I don't want green, I want variations of such, just to make it unique so it doesn't look like everything else. And you'll also see that when I apply the acrylic paint, I do a dab fashion. I do not, under any circumstances, hardly brush it. So it's basically a stenciling brush where we are dabbing the paint on. We're not stroking it on, so to speak. No, I'm not going to do a Michael Scott. Okay, so once again, I tap the brush out. I just do not ever want to overload the brush. I say that all the time. You can always add paint. It's a pain in the neck to get the paint off of whatever object you're painting or underneath the stencil and such, as you have seen or will see in these videos. So we just take our time dabbing. You end up getting a better look for my money doing it this way. I will probably come back and do the inside of these flowers with a different brush, just so it looks good. So typically, so that's red. That's about all I want to do. That's about all the amount of paint I want to have applied. So I'll let that dry just a little bit and get the next section. And I'll show you. You can move actually quicker than you think with this, and I'll show you that in a second. You can reuse the same piece of tape on this side, but we're going to need another for the other side. So this is going to be our orange color. We'll guesstimate it right about there. No big deal if we're off. There you go. So obviously we need the edge of the next piece of tape to overlap on the red here, and so forth as we go. But once again, it's nothing to panic about. So let me just give it a little alignment like that. Not pressing down on the previous paint. Of course, if the masking tape does affect that, we can always come back and tab it. But just for time's sake, we can use that. Change brush. I'll change brushes here. We're going to use an orange, but we're going to use a coral. Basically a light orange for color number 2, and we're just going to go at it. Pat, pat, pat. Keep moving. And just about done with the second color. Looks good. Carefully take this one off. That looks fine. We'll take a quick break here. We'll guitar slap this and be back and do a few more colors. Alright, right back with the next color. We're gonna do a yellow. And this particular yellow is called Saffron Yellow. I'll get that guy there. If you notice, I usually try to put the paint out in a line, just so I'm not completely, it's less likely that you'll get too much on your brush. You can just pull it out there and tap it out. Personal preference, I guess. It's just, the paint is inexpensive enough, you're not really worried about going through too much of it, but you also want to have it around, and you don't want too much dripping and smudging and such. So, whatever. Just one of those things. Just tap, tap, tap. I don't mind at all when you've applied it and you'll see extra paint in a particular spot. I don't mind that at all. We just leave that alone typically, just because it gives it character, makes it look like it's handmade, which it is, and hand painted. I mean, and you move right along. Oh. Got a jailbreak by an ant in here. Where'd that thing come from? Must be on the roof. All right. So yellow's done. Okay. Halfway home with the colors. And the next one. Next one's going to be a green. 4 inches we're looking for. Not what she said. Family channel. Shut up, Kev. Okay, here we go. We got. That's about 4 inches. 2 more. All right, we're good. Just using a little water to get a lot of the, excuse me, a lot of the yellow off of the brush. I'm going to use the same brush. I typically will do that. Just there's no reason to use a different brush for every color. A little too much paint, but that's fine. Drag it out. I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to let that dry just a little bit more because we do have a good collection of paint on there. And I'd like it to dry a little bit more so I don't disturb it. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to not use the tape and just go right up to the edge. But I'll stick with what I've been doing just to make the piece, what's the word, symmetric? Who knows? All right. All right, once again, yeah, I'll do it just for giggles. And after this one, we'll give it a guitar slap, a little break, so it can get a little more drying, and do the last two. All right, time for blue. We're going to use turquoise. Always a favorite. do the same thing. We'll start here on the right. Like I said before, sometimes, you know, at the joints here, you don't necessarily need masking tape. But I like it. Once you start with it, you should probably continue with it. Very often I won't, but I'm going to use it just so we have a straight line. Hardly necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. A little extra paint, so we'll use that. Just get that used up. One more color left. I think yeah, we're going to do purple. So just gently take that off. Obviously we don't need tape now for this side, so we can go right into the purple now without waiting. Now obviously this piece that we're working with originally came with a shade of purple, as a shade of purple, excuse me. So that's actually going to be helpful. Because I like putting colors on a shade of the same color. It ends up helping it to look aged. So, and you don't want to, you're not trying to be perfect with it either. So I'll show you that in a second. Because since you have that purplish, the lighter purple underneath, you can actually use that to your advantage. And don't have to be quite as accurate. In fact, like I said, you don't want to be. You want to use it to your advantage in terms of layering and an appearance from far away. You see how that looks different than the blue? The purple to the blue is, and I like that. So we're not going to go crazy. It's almost like it's spray painted, or they hand painted a Volkswagen Bug or whatever. So we'll just use the tape again just to be consistent. Use what's already on the brush, 'cause so we don't start slipping underneath the tape. So I think we're done. We're really pretty much done with, we're done with the colors here. So so next steps really are to let it dry, and then we're going to reattach the hardware. And then I don't know if I mentioned it already, maybe in the intro, which I haven't made yet, I have an adornment, a peace symbol that I'm going to put on there, which is really one of the highlights of the piece. It'll probably be right down in here. So let's take a break. Okay, so reattach the hardware. It's drying nicely. I'm just going to touch up the top here. Here's one of my fingerprints right there. And just loosely match the colors as below. Just do that across. Not really stressing too much. Just keep moving. Green. Drop of yellow. Just to make it look right. Not worried about any imperfections like that overlap. Do not mind that at all. Alright. Get some coral going. Then the red. So there's your top. The bottom, same idea, of course. There's your red. Here comes your coral on there. Or orange, whatever orange you have is absolutely fine. Another drop of yellow. Once again, I'm using the same brush. I'm not that concerned down here about mixing colors too much. Drop of green. A little drop. Green going. Okay. Love it. The yellow and the green mixing in there, no problem. Not even. Actually, going to add a little yellow to it. A little yellow highlights in there. Need a little blue. Turquoise, actually, it's turquoise we used, so that's the way it goes. All right, and finally purple. Okay, so now we should be pretty much done with painting painting the item here. Let me just clean this up for a bit. Let that dry. Just another minute. We'll slap a guitar and be right back. Okay, so now we're ready for, I guess, the reveal. We have this rusty, dusty peace symbol that we're going to put onto this piece. Simply going to glue it. Probably just center it right there. We'll use that side there. So we're going to just use a common super glue. It's kind of a gel type from the Dollar Tree. I bet you can't guess how much I paid for it. So we'll get that thing glued on there. Usually good in an hour or two to handle, but I usually let it sit overnight, just to be sure. And if you need to pry it off using this glue, it's not that bad. You actually can get them off, but they certainly will not fall off on their own. So I use a golf tee, by the way, since I have plenty of them around, to apply the glue. It's very, very handy. Hopefully you can see that. Just kind of twist the glue onto the golf tee and then apply it. Trying not to get the strings of glue going too much, but that, once again, that's the type of thing that can be cleaned later. So there you go. So we're gonna apply that carefully, like so. I don't know if I need permission, but I'll probably leave a link in the description below of where I get these type of rusty metal steel cutouts of items. I really like working with them. They're not expensive at all. I mean, roughly, oh gosh, you probably get 5 or 6 for $8. So you're talking about a $1.50 all in for each one. I can tell you the guy's name, the store's name on eBay is Thor's Forge, and he's in, I believe, Utah. And I do like using his stuff. Is really well done. And like you see, it really can make the piece. So that's affixed. I'm not going to do anything to the back. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And, that's pretty much it for this piece. So now we have a piece rack. Total cost into this is, I didn't pay for the piece itself. What did I pay for? I paid, like I said, this is about $1.50 tops. And that's it. This is an item that if and when I list it on eBay, unless somebody around here wants it, I'd probably put $30 on it, and it probably would sell very quickly. Just from my experience of what has gone up on Etsy and eBay. So, Rusty Dusty Picker on eBay. You'll start to see a lot more of these items up there. They sell pretty quickly. This channel is not about selling these. There's only so many items, so I'm not worried about, commercializing what these videos produce. It's really just to have fun, learn from each other. And in the comments, just if you would have done something different, this is for all of these videos, let me know. It's all about, sharing with each other and seeing, what other ideas can come from some of these obscure pieces that you might be laying around at a garage sale or an estate sale, or a flea market, and things that would otherwise, end up in a landfill. We can make some fun stuff out of. So, anyway, once again, it was a pleasure. If you like these videos, you can subscribe just to get a reminder on YouTube that there's more coming. and when they come. And if you like the video, click the thumbs up. Anyway, we'll see you next time around. Enjoy.